Hey there, today I'm going to show you how to draw Cell from Dragon Ball Z. So we're going to start in the middle of the face. I'm going to draw a straight line down the middle, splitting both eyes. From here, I'm going to curl up the end on the right side, and then curl the left side as well. From here, I'm going to curve to the outer part of the head. So curving up and out. And then on the left side, I'm going to do the same thing, making sure I get the same height on both sides. Starting on the left, and curving down towards the middle. Now from here, I'm going to draw in the eyes. So starting on the inner part of the right, I'm going to curve to the right side, and then from here, I'm going to curve up and underneath that brow line. Let's go over to the left side, and start on the left side bottom, and curve towards the center of the eye. Then from here, I'm going to curve up and underneath that bridge. Let's draw the iris and the pupil. So up here, tucked in underneath this brow line, I'm going to draw a half circle underneath like that, and then draw a black dot in the center. On the right side, I will do the same thing. So drawing a half circle, and then the pupil in the center. Let's go ahead and draw the nose. So coming down the middle, I'm going to draw the tip of the nose right about here. From this point, I'm going to curve to the outside to the right, and then I'm going to curve a line out to the left. From here, I'm going to curve up towards the middle like so. From here, I'm going to take that same point and just kind of come down about halfway in between that line on the left. Let's go down to the mouth. So right underneath this nose, right about here, I'm going to draw a straight line across. From here, I'm going to curl up the right side, and I'm going to curl up the left side. And then we're going to put little arrows, almost like a half square, on this corner of this mouth. So we're going to start in this corner, go straight across to the right, and we'll go straight down. Do the same thing on the right side. So coming across and then down. Underneath this lip, we're going to draw a curve like that. Okay, from here, let's draw the inner part of the chin and the cheeks and the jaw. So right beside this eye, I'm going to go down in towards the jaw area, which will be roughly about here, kind of parallel to this mouth. So just on the inside, I'm going to draw a straight line down to the jaw. Do the same on the right side as well. So coming in. And we're going to come down to the middle of the chin, but here I'm going to draw a half circle just underneath that chin line, like that. From here I'm going to take that point and draw a straight line right into that side of the circle. Same thing on the right side. Now let's go ahead and draw the ear area. So just up here on the left, I'm just going to come up just a bit here and just draw a curve like so. From here I'm just going to angle in towards the nose, but leave a little bit of a gap. I'm going to do the same thing on the right side. So coming in, coming diagonal. Now I'm going to trace the contour of the jaw and chin, and then just round out the chin area here. So what I'm going to do here on the left is I'm going to do an overlap. Come down to the jaw. Do the same thing on the right side. Now from here I'm going to go in towards the chin and then just round it out. So straight line towards the chin, and just kind of round out that chin area and go up on the right side. Okay, so now that we have that, we're going to draw in the side of the headgear all the way up to the tip of the hat. So let's go ahead and draw from this end. I'm going to draw an angle line going out on both sides. From here, we're just going to angle in and up. Now this is going to be a curve that goes all the way to the top peak of the headgear. So right about here. So I'm going to hopefully not run out of space on my paper, but right about here, start at the top and curve all the way down to that point. We're going to do the same thing on the right side. So starting right about here, I'm going to curve all the way down to that point there. Okay, so now these are going to come down to this brow area. So what I'm going to do first is take this top point and curve out on both sides. So you can see it's going this way. Now from here, I'm going to curve all the way up to that point there. So the curve going up. This kind of looks like the bull horns, but we're going to close this off in a minute. And then from here, we're going to draw the top of the head. So you just have to imagine a sphere right around the eye area. So right about here is where the top peak of the head will be. So what I'm going to do is start on the left and just draw a curve for the top of the head. We're going to draw a little bit of shine in this metallic surface. So I'm going to come in and just outline the inner part of that half circle. I'm going to draw an oval in reverse, And then just finish that off by coming across here. And then once we color it in, you'll see that it's going to give it that sort of glossy look. From this top point, we're going to curve in the opposite direction of this line to make it look like it's folding behind that top of the head. So on both sides, kind of like that. Okay, and then you can go ahead and draw in all these little patchwork, the little spots all along the head. So starting at the top, I'm just going to start with just some random shapes. And they don't have to be exactly the way I draw them. I'm just drawing sort of like four-sided squares or four-sided rounded shapes, maybe even 3 or 5-sided. You see, I'm just kind of randomly going around and drawing these sort of rough shapes. I'm just going to roughly go around. And they could be smaller, they could be bigger, really doesn't matter. Okay, and we'll just fill in the empty gaps with smaller pieces. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the right side. So right up here. Kind of want to make sure that you have an even distribution of big and small. So you can see that I'm going in small in between and then just drawing bigger ones around them. All the way up. Make sure you check back and forth. Make sure that they both sort of balance out. You don't have like really tiny ones on one side and really big ones on the other. Let's go all the way up to there. Okay, so we got the head. Let's draw in the little details along the cheeks. So in the inside of the eye, just underneath, I'm just going to draw a diagonal line, just coming down and out. From here, I'm just going to curve the bottom edge out to the sides. Now from here, I'm going to take the bottom edge of this eye and just draw an angled line, a curved and angled line towards the center of the face. So curving that out, and you can see that I'm sort of following the same line as the outer part of the face. So curving around, then straight down, just for a little bit of detail. Let's get into the neck area. So I'm going to have the hands sort of folded, or the arms folded in on each other. So let's start with the neck. So up here, where the ear meets the jaw, I'm just going to curve down on both sides. So they're curving down and in. From here, I'm going to draw the tops of the shoulders. So just up here by the jaw, I'm going to draw a curve on both sides coming down. Make that a little bit longer here. Now from here, I'm going to come down into the chest area, but I want to sort of locate the chest first. So right about here is the top of the chest. I'm going to draw a little line, or a little point there. And then I'm going to draw a straight line going down the middle of the chest, just splitting that off in half. From here, I'm going to take this point and curve the upper right part of the chest out. Kind of like that. This side, I'm going to do the left side. And it really doesn't matter if you go too long on this, because we're going to extend this beyond the shoulder points. And you'll see that in a second. So from here, I'm going to take this point and curve it underneath that chest. Just like that. From here, let's draw in some wrinkle. So up here, I'm just going to come back up a bit and draw a diagonal line. And just going to curve that line down. So up here, I'm going to draw a diagonal line and curve that down like that. Let's continue the shoulders. So up here, I'm just going to do an overlap. Come down at an angle on both sides. And you can see I'm going back left and right just to make sure I'm balancing this composition out. So from here, I'm going to go and do the outer part of the chest. So from here, I'm just going to curve down on both sides, kind of like that. This is going to come down and in towards the middle of the chest. So here, on this point, I'm going to come down to right about here. I'm going to curve to the center point of the chest on both sides, kind of like that. And then from here, I'm going to curve in the opposite direction, so curving up and in to that center part of that chest. Like that. Let's draw in some neck detail. So just inside of that jaw, I'm just going to draw a straight line on both sides, like that. And then just to the right of this, I'm going to go upward. So it looks like there's like a big, thick sort of vein or cartilage in behind the neck. So just doing that. If you want, you can draw a little bit of throat. So just drawing a curve and just a straight line down. Okay, let's get into some shoulders. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just step over a little bit on the left. Go up above that line here on the shoulder and just draw a curve. And just following that same contour there, let's go and do the same thing on the right side, like so. From here I'm going to step down from this point and just draw an angled line across. This will look like this is sort of armor on top of an undergarment or under skin. From here I'm going to round out the shoulders and I'm going to bring this down to right about here. So from this point, I'm going to just do a curve, rounding out the shoulder. I'm going to do the same thing on the right side, making sure that I balance this out. So from here, I'm going to curve around and down like that, making sure that the height is similar. From here, I'm going to round out the bottom and curve up to the bottom of that shoulder. Here, I'm just going to do the opposite. So I'm going to curve and round out the bottom like that. Now, because I'm going to have the arm, this arm on top of this arm, I'm going to have to draw this in first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to the elbow. So the elbow is going to be right about here. Now, from this point in the shoulder, I'm going to curve in. I'm going to do an overlap and make my way down to where my finger is. So this is the back of the arm coming in like that. From here, because it's the elbow, he's got this big sort of oval or circle disc on the elbow area. So up here, I'm going to start up there and just draw an oval from that point in the elbow, like that. Now this part, I'm going to draw the bottom of the forearm up to the wrist. So the wrist is going to come up to about here. So I'm going to start up here, I'm going to curve in, and just kind of straighten out. From here, I'm going to round out the wrist area. So this is the part right here. I'm going to curve up like that. Now I'm going to have to draw on the top part of the wrist. This is going to go all the way down to that disc. So I'm going to start by going in, up, and then down. I'm going to double this up. So I'm going to start out here and just kind of taper that line just to give it a little bit of separation between the forearm and the upper arm. From here, I'm going to draw the bicep. So starting here, I'm just going to curve into that chest and just round that out like that. And for a little bit of arm detail, I'm just going to draw a curve, kind of like that. Let's separate this little section here because I want to color that in purple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start up here. I'm just going to curve that in underneath the chest like that. Okay, let's get into the other arm before I get into a little bit more detail. So the elbow on this side is basically a mirror of this arm over here. So I want to make sure I get the elbow in the right space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by drawing that elbow joint. So let's draw that same oval like I did on the left side. Now from here, I'm going to go up like I did here. So starting right about here, curve up and in, and then I'm going to do that sort of overlap for the shoulder, kind of like that. From here, I'm going to let's draw the bicep. So up here, I'm going to overlap the bicep on top of that corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to curve like that. Let's close in that section right here, like so. Let's draw in the hand, so the wrist coming around like this. So I'm just going to step in and draw a curve like that. Let's draw in some bicep like I did here. So curving that in like that. Let's start down here and draw the bottom part of the forearm coming up. And then I'm going to draw this section here. So this is going to come across that bicep. So let's go across like this. And I'm going to separate this like that. And we'll draw this arm coming up and tucking in underneath here. So I'm just going to draw a curve like that. And there's a little plate in the center of the stomach. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to draw in an angled line like this, angled line like that. And I think, we've got to draw some more spots. So these spots along the arm. So I'm going to start up on the upper arm here. And he doesn't seem to have a lot along the back side of his arm. So I'm just going to draw that same spot pattern in the back of the arm here. And then it sort of goes along the forearm. So it looks like it's more along the bottom, and it sort of starts to dissipate as it gets to the top. So I'm going to draw spots like this. Not too many. Like that. And then the bottom part of the arm here. Continue in the back of the arm. Here, and there's a few along the disc area. Draw a couple more there, one more here, and I think that's pretty much it. There we have it. There's Cell from Dragon Ball Z. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Please give us a like and make sure you check out our Dragon Ball Z playlist. I have a ton of characters in there. I'll be adding more every week. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.